The team's in an emotional Old Firm New Year match. The second half was even. Lee McCulloch had the best opportunity, hitting the bar. And then the second half, well, Celtic pushed ahead through, of all people, Georgios Samaras, scoring his first SPL goal in 27 games, and a second came from the penalty spot. Let's hear from the man of the match, Samaras, and captain Daniel Mastorovic.
Daniel, a big result for Celtic. How pleasing was it?
That was a great performance. Massive win for us. We showed good character out there and very good 3 points.
A clean sheet. How pleasing is that for you with all the doubters in the build-up to the game?
No, I mean, statistic is statistic. We had only 13 goals conceding, and we are best in the league, and we showed that today.
Georgios, you must be absolutely delighted. A double, you almost got a hat-trick.
I think I don't like to speak by my own performance. I think all the lads outside was incredible. You know, really hard work outside the pitch, and I think we deserved in the end to win the game.
Was there a feeling of determination among the squad, considering everybody considered Rangers favourites?
There's no favourites in this league. You know, I think Rangers are a really good team, Celtic as well, and we're going to find until then who's going to win the SPL trophy.
Everybody is looking at the transfer speculation with the likes of yourself. Are you hoping these two goals maybe influences a rethink at Celtic to negotiate with you longer?
It's now only the results against Rangers. Just enjoy that result, and we're going to see the next couple of weeks what's going to happen. It's not the time. It's not the right time. It's a great win, and we must stay in that. Nothing else.
Daniel, what about this man's contribution today?
Yeah, he showed his qualities today. It was very, very good for us. He was strong. He scored 2 goals. What more can you ask for him?
Do you hope this is the pivotal moment and the drive towards the title?
No, I mean, we are in good. We are back on track now. We have good result behind us now. We're just looking forward. Of course, this will give us a boost for sure.
Well, Daniel, I hope you can do the honours, because Georgios Samaras is the Clydesdale Bank Premier League man of the match.
That's good. Of course, pleasure to give me. Excellent.
Thank you. Well done.
Thanks.
Two big performances from two big men and a big result for Celtic. And I'm delighted to say we're joined here in the studio on the final whistle by the Celtic manager, Neil Lennon. Neil, Happy New Year to you. In fact, a very Happy New Year to you. How pleased are you with that? How big a result is that from your players?
Oh, it's huge. You know, going into the game, I don't think many people give us much of a chance, to come here and play a very good Rangers team. But there was a real determination about the team today. I thought once they got over the initial flurry that happens in Old Firm games, I thought we were by far the better side. Were
you worried yourself, given that I guess the first 3 names in your team sheet, your captain, your top goal scorer and Sean Maloney, were missing? Freddie Ljungberg, who would have, I guess, come in had he not been ill, also unavailable as well. Were you worried yourself?
Yeah, with 9 players out, Hooper, the 2 South Korean boys as well, Murphy and Capel. So, out of the crisis comes opportunities for other players, and they really stood up to it today. I thought Mulgrew came in and did a great job for us on the left-hand side, and Kyle was fantastic, considering he's not played much football for the last 3 months. And they looked the team out there, Rangers put us under pressure towards the second part of the second half, but we defended brilliantly today.
What do you think was the difference?
Getting a foothold in the game, we got a grip in midfield. I felt Samaras was a big difference today. When he plays like that, he's virtually unplayable in this country anyway. And I thought he'd give Bagheera and Weir, a headache all day. And he started the game well. He was a good outball for us and scored 2 great goals.
Neil, I remember going up and speaking to you at Lennox Town, and I spoke about last year and how you addressed this season, because I felt that Rangers maybe had a bit more muscle. I thought Kyle came in today and was fantastic. He maybe didn't do anything pretty, but he dug it up a wee bit like Lee McCulloch does for Rangers. Yeah. There's a bit of steel in there, especially with Scott Brown missing. But I thought one of your best performances today by a long stretch was Ronya. I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was solid. Him and Mastorovic bossed the game. I was one of those guys, Neil, I have to admit that I thought Rangers would win today. I thought they had the edge. But I tell you what, they guys, I think, at back just let you build a platform for the second half that you go forward, and I felt you
totally agree with you.
Half
I thought his positioning was excellent, when the balls were in wide areas. He kept Miller fairly quiet, and that's not an easy thing to do this season. And he headed the ball at times, the 2 of them were resolute. He's a young man, he's had horrendous injury problems, but we feel he's got a good future if he can stay fit, and he's had a run of games now, and he's starting to show.
I think there was also the change at half time, and I think you probably realised that Samaras had the run, the pace, because one thing you can guarantee with Samaras, he can run. But I think when you got closer to him, the first initial start of the second half, little head flick on for Paddy.
Aye.
But I just generally thought then after, I don't know what you said at half time, but it was as if Ledley was further forward, Cahill was 5 yards further up, and suddenly they couldn't really get out or going at you. They played in front of you but never really went anywhere.
I think they got a bit of belief, Charlie, just before half time, and they got a good spell in the game for 15-20 minutes, and I think Paddy's rolled Forrest in and McCulloch's made a great tackle on him, you know, so. And Forrest was starting to get a bit of joy down this right-hand side towards the end of the first half, and they got a bit of belief in themselves. And you know, they started the second half very, very well, which is something we haven't done over the past few games. And we were resolute, we were well disciplined, and you know, our front men did the damage today.
Well, let's have a look at the first goal from Giorgio Samaras. How did you see it from your vantage?
Well, it's something we've talked about. You know, the counter attack, and Sammy can play up on the last man, and Joe's picked a great pass. And he's got the legs, and you know, his composure there is fantastic, mate. The one thing about Sammy is the consistent things is inconsistency, but on his day he can be as good as this. You know, I've seen him play in World Cups like this, and he definitely has fantastic attributes. We just need to get into his head a wee bit more that he can achieve this. And I thought he was unplayable today. I really did.
I think we all get to the stage with Samaras. I mean, it must drive you bonkers rather than us, but because I think he becomes an individual that it's quite easy to knock him, because I think he's got change of pace, he's got good height, you know, he can really chase people down, but you just wonder sometimes, do you really want to do it? How often do you want to do it? And sometimes you see him wide left, not interested, and then suddenly today he's interested.
He's probably like a lot of players, Charlie, confidence. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't scored for a long time, he gets the first, and then he does this thing with Samaras has got in abundance. He'll just face somebody up and he'll use his body just to get in front of him, wins a penalty, all of a sudden he steps up, strokes it away, and he'll be as high as a kite just now.
And he certainly was confident enough to take the penalty as well.
Well, again, look where he's picking the ball up, you know. He can do this, he's on his own basically. You know, he's got that athleticism to get away from people, he's drawn the foul, and he had the confidence to go and take the penalty. I spoke to Gordon yesterday about him, and you know, he said just let him play up there on his own. And I thought he started the game very, very well, and from then on, you know, he had the beatings of Bagheera and Weir in the air most of the time, and he played the two of them on his own brilliantly. Yeah, the composure to go and do that, you know, technically he can be very, very good. It's like Charlie says, he has all the attributes to be, you know, not just top class, world class, but it's getting him to do it on a consistent basis.
Do you hope to strengthen and build on that to strengthen in the transfer window? Well,
we're hoping to. I mean, we've got Lundberg, and you know, luck would have it, he came down with a virus on Friday. We checked him out yesterday, and there was absolutely no chance of him taking any part. So hopefully we'll have him. We'll have Brown back for the next few games. Hooper was not far away, but you always look to strengthen from a position of strength, I suppose. So hopefully we can do, but there'll not be too many players, like, you know.
There have been some difficult results and performances at Celtic Park in the last month or so, in between the cold snap. What kind of confidence does this give the fellas to build on now?
Oh, massive. And I think it did us good to get it, you know, away from. We've had 4 games in a row at Celtic Park, and they've not been easy. You know, they've been difficult games, but the last 2, you know, the performances have been okay in the main, but we haven't been taking our chances. But this will give the team, the club, the supporters a massive lift.
What's it like being a manager in these fixtures? This is your first one at Ibrox. Have a look at yourself here. Do you recognise yourself? What's going through your head?
That's something calm, isn't it?
It is. I thought it was alright today, to be fair. But you know, you try to keep a lid on your emotions, especially here. You don't want to antagonise the crowd. But you know, it's an Old Firm derby. It's a massive game. It was a game that probably we needed to win, and the players have answered all the questions today that we asked them. I have to say they showed great character today, and no shortage of quality either. I'm very proud of them today.
Have you answered a few questions yourself today? Because you had to shake it up. It was a real patch-up performance, a patch-up side that you had to produce today.
You know, the criticism levelled at myself was we don't win the big games. Well, you know, it had to come sooner or later, so might as well have been today. So that was a huge game in the context of the season for us, and we've done it. So we need to build on that from now on.
Tell you what, Neil, you're happy with the performance today and the win. From in here, it sounded as if outside the Celtic fans done the game proud today as well with a minute's silence. I thought, for what we could hear in here, it was just nothing.
Yeah, I was just still in the tunnel. I didn't want to walk out because the whistle had gone. It was, you know, held with great dignity, I have to say, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Neil, credit to you, the Celtic supporters and your players. Thanks very much for joining us as well.
Thank you.
Nice to hear from Neil Lennon. Coming up after the break, there'll be more reaction to his side's Old Firm victory. Georgios Samaras, who would have thought it, the hero today, with a double. And Celtic have a very happy new year at Ibrox Park. Rangers manager thinks. Here's Walter Smith.
Walter, what were your thoughts on today's game?
Well, I felt we started the game very well. We played first half. We're a better side overall, especially the first half hour of the game. Apart from hitting the bar, in the early stages of the match, never really created, that much. Give Celtic credit. They defended very well, worked very hard, throughout the game. And in that first half, especially where we were a bit dominant in terms of possession, we never really created that many clear-cut openings. But we knew that as the game was going, that could maybe happen. As it was, the second half, Celtic started the better side. Then the game settled down again. And then 2 errors on our own part have contributed to our downfall. So from our own point of view, no one else to blame but ourselves.
Only one chance on target. Is that something that displeased you throughout the 90 minutes?
Well, as I say, you've got to give credit to Celtic for that. They defended very well throughout. We never created the amount of opportunities that we would have liked in terms of our overall possession. As the game went on, you always felt that the first goal was going to be a very, very important one, and for us to give it away in the manner in which we did was clearly a big disappointment to us.
Is it ever so difficult when you don't have a full-strength team to pick with, especially in this type of game?
No excuses for us. I mean, the way the game was, Celtic have lost a few players as well, so it's not. There's no excuse from that point of view. You have to go on and play. You can only take the game as it is on the day, and as I say, we had plenty of opportunity to create, didn't do so. But again, credit must be given to Celtic from that point of view.
Is it imperative now that you win those 2 games in hand to keep this title going neck and neck?
That's imperative that Rangers win a game all the time. I mean, that's where we start from. Nobody likes losing, and we just have to make sure that we get back on track immediately.
Thanks for your time, Walter.
Thank you.
Is that manager scratching his head wondering what went wrong?